So guys, after 10 whole days in isolation due to coryza infection and respiratory infection, we are now reuniting these chicks in isolation with their colleagues in the main chicken house. It is a great feat for me as a new farmer because this infection, my fear was that it was going to kill all the chicks who have been isolated. But then, out of the 7 who were isolated, 1 of them were those that died. But before then, a number of the chicks in the main chicken house were found dead as a result of the respiratory infection. I didn't detect it quite early, and it took away a few of them. I'm not too sure how many before I isolated the 7, and later 1 additional chick died before I noticed the infection and brought them out. And they've been here for 10 days. And during this period, I'm trying to sack them whilst also talking, saying some of them do not want to go back again. So during this period, quite a number of things have happened. Quite a number of them have happened. I think I'll have to get them inside before I continue with the video. So they have now all entered. Now they are with their colleagues. So it will mean that for me, even though all of them, all of the 6 that have been reunited with their colleagues, I wish that I had a way of marking them so that when any chick happens to have such an infection again, I will either be able to refer it to that particular chick that was isolated before, or it is a new one. But I couldn't do that. So there could be possible infection of the coryza or respiratory infection, which may not entirely be those the old ones that were infected. It may also not be because the isolated chicks were not well treated, but then because of entirely a new infection altogether. So others say that when their chicks have that particular type of infection, they usually do not isolate them. They just leave them together and then treat them. So a third scenario could also be that when the infection sets in before they were isolated, the 3 days we gave them the dosing 200, it didn't treat all of them, and for which reason some of the chicks still retain some of the infections in them. So I will look out critically to see over the next few days to see if there is any sign that any of their chicks is showing any signs of the infection again. And remember, this is the 3rd time I have encountered this particular respiratory infection on my farm, and it baffles me because the rice husk we have used to spread on the floor, is the thickness is not so much as they were very small when we removed them from the brooding house, and then the level that we place the thickness level of the rice husk was reduced by about 10 bags, which are in the ash bags. So right now, even though some of them they put their heads in the rice husk, but it's not as they were as it was when I reported that one of the chicks put their heads inside and the others trample on it. But for now, I don't want to go inside for now. As you can see, it is not that thick. So what I can say probably is the extension of the Hamatan period, where we normally expect and experience the Hamatan from December up to the end of January, sometimes early February. But this time, even early February, first week, second week of February, some other haze or dust from the Burkina side came in, and I don't know whether it is the cause of all of that. But then, regarding the hair of the chicks too, which I was suspecting could be what was blocking their nostrils, leading to the respiratory infection, the consultant says that no, and some of you also said that no. As for their hair, it is okay because they live with it, and most of you do not experience any challenges with that. So I'm surprised that it is the respiratory infection which has infected and reinfected my chicks for about 3 times, leading to me having to isolate these ones. So it is possible that I may get the respiratory infection again if I don't solve the underlying problem, which is what I am so just lamenting to try to find a possible cause of it, a possible source of it. So if you have some suggestions to share with me about where exactly the some of you said dust, others say the harmattan, others say it is from outside, but whatever it is, if you have any ideas to share that can help me to reduce the infection, or it could be just across my neighbor's plot here, that undeveloped plot I've been making so much noise about, they defecate there a lot. They there's a lot of open defecation taking place there, and I don't know whether now that the weather is very dry and those feces also get dried and blown away by wind, that is what also comes with this. I don't know. I don't know at all. But for now, the entry of fowls, local fowls into the compound has greatly reduced. It is only the very small ones who are able to get through the chain link. But for the older chicks, they are not able to get in. So I still just wonder, I continue to wonder why the respiratory infection continues to be with my chicks, leading to some of them being isolated and leading to a few of them dying. So guys, if you have any suggestions, let me know. Then revisiting the issue of my isolation room, like I said, I do not have a separate isolation room which I have constructed for my beds. For now, it is the storeroom which is available, and I removed them and brought them into the storeroom. And most of you have been complaining that it is possible that some of the chicks can be infected again, and which I haven't found any yet before returning the chicks. So it means that God willing, there have been some success, because I used something to cover here, a polythene bag to cover here, with the hope that the wind blowing wouldn't blow the disease back into the chicken house. And for the period the chicks have been away, I've not experienced any of these things again. Today, the 12th of March 2026, we are preparing another ton of grower mash. The first grower mash we prepared was on the 18th of February, and we started using it on the 20th of February. And for the 20th of February, it is today, the 12th, that we have just these few bags left. These 2.5 bags. So that is about 100 and let's say 30 kilograms. So with this 130 kilograms, they will eat it. I think I've served them today, so they will eat the some today, and then tomorrow they will eat the remaining. So that tomorrow next we will give them the new one we are preparing. And if tomorrow they finish everything, which I'm sure they will, it will mean that the 1 ton of grower mash we prepared, they ate it for a period of from 20th of February to 12th. So let's say 13. So that is 21 days. 21 days. Wow. I actually thought that they'll eat it around 17 days or so. But then that is 2.5 weeks. But then they ate it for 21. That is 3 weeks. Wow. 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 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I don't know whether they didn't eat much or the quantity they ate is okay. As you know, quite in my last few videos, I noted that we measured the quantity of feed they eat, and a day we noticed they eat up to 64 kilograms. So that is a bag like this one, and then about a quarter of this. So at 12 weeks old, sorry, at 10 weeks old, that is what they have been eating. And looking at that, and they eating 1 ton for 21 days, 3 weeks, is that okay? Well, we will check that later and come back. However, I have been the one feeding them, so I wouldn't say that I've cut corners in the feeding. So probably also the quantity of maize we have in the bags, so that 1 ton, I may say, is not 1 ton proper, in the sense that these bags, some of them, especially those that we got from overseas area, they are bigger and heavier than the 100 kg bags of maize we normally buy from Tamale. So it could be a factor that using 6 of it and adding all the other ingredients leads to a little more than 1 ton. But that I didn't quite check, because we just carry our bags, carry our maize, and then they bring out the concentrate, the wheat bran among others, mix it, then they fill it in the bags, 50 kg each, and then we bring it. So that is likely, yes, that is likely the fact that we milled and brought in more than 1 ton. But then if they still add 1 ton for 21 days, is it too little or it is too much? So this is where we are. And by this, let's call it a day, then I'll update you later if whatever that is happening.